Julia. Welcome to Super Talk Show. It's so nice to have you with us all the way from Brown University.
Hi, Heidi. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here and talk about Brown.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you. I actually met you through like your own YouTube video when um like you had your little like Brown portfolio showcase. So that was really
Yeah,
cool. And you talked about fashion. So to start
yeah.
off the interview, I guess I want to ask what's your passion and who are you? Maybe give us an introduction about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Julia. I'm currently an undergraduate freshman in Brown University. I am from Brazil. I am Brazilian. I lived in São Paulo, really big city in Brazil, and now here in Providence. It's a quiet town, really nice. So I would say that academically, my interests are mainly like biological sciences. I really like environmental sciences, ecology, those topics regarding climate change and everything. And I am finding also a really big interest in international relations. So those are options for me to major in. I really like political science and that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna take some classes and explore. Um, but outside of that, I really like fashion. As you mentioned, my brown video was about fashion, and I really like that. Um, I love dance as well. Love dancing. I love Pilates and yoga and those exercises. That's something that I've been exploring a lot here at Brown in the fitness center. And yeah, mainly that's it. Those are the things I usually do on my free time and what I've been studying recently. Yeah.
Mm. That's so cool. I have like so many questions. I don't even know where to start. But I
You
guess
can ask as many as you want.
thank you. I guess like you just experienced a huge transition, of course, from high school to college.
Yeah.
Um, so I think you've been to Brown for a few weeks now, maybe. Can you?
Yeah, it's gonna be a month now. Yeah.
Oh, okay, wow. So can you tell us like why Brown? Like from your initial research, why did you choose Brown? And
Okay.
what does it like satisfy the expectation? And what do you find here?
Okay. Um, why Brown? I think mainly because it is a really good school, really well known, especially like being an international student, going to a worldwide known school that has a good name. I think that starts with a really good reason. And being an Ivy League, I was really glad I got into the school. It's harder to get in. So I was looking at selective schools, which have had really great education and were like recognizable. I guess if I was looking at like a job in other countries and stuff that had like a good presence. Um, and that were selective because I've always been a really good student. So I had this faith that I would be able to get into those selective schools. So I had a list of about 10 colleges that I was going to apply. Some were more selective, which we call like the top reach, like far reach are the ones that we really want to, yeah, the hardest ones. And it was really well like spread. I had some easier schools to get in. There were more like what I was probably gonna be able to get in, and those well likely for me to get it. So that was a big research. I had schools all over here in the New England area, like the northeast of the United States. I had some schools in more in the south, some in California. At
Wow.
the end, I had a trip with my dad. We went around to visit all those schools in 1 week that I had off of school, and it was crazy. We went to like 7 different cities in 7 days, and we visited many schools. And Brown actually ended up having the best, I'm going to use the word vibe. The people here are really nice. And even though it's an Ivy League, it's a really rigorous school. People here like have really nice personalities. People go out, people like to dress up fancy and be themselves here. Like, even though everyone's like intellectual, the point here is that like people are not like nerds here. You know what I mean? They don't like fully act out as nerds all the time as you would expect people in Ivy Leagues to act out. So people here are like really nice and cool, and this vibe of people, the happiness that people have all the time, like excitement and individuality and joy, was what like really made me love this place. This was the first place that I visited, and after visiting all the other schools, I just didn't feel the same. And yeah, so I really like this aspect of like the community and everything about the curriculum here. It's called an open curriculum. We have no requirements at all, so you don't have to have 3 credits in math and 3 in science and 3 in social sciences. Like you can do literally anything. I don't have to have a math class if I don't want to. I don't have to have a history class if I don't want to. If it's within your major, then you do have to have it, but you can go anywhere with it. There are 0 requirements, and that's really nice. Here at Brown, they also have the option of a pass-fail class. So you can take a class with grades like ABC, good, like normal, or you can take a class like pass-fail. If you go above C, which is the passing grade, you're just gonna pass the class. You don't have to like you're not gonna have the grade in your transcript. And if you fail, like that's sad, you failed the class. It's not gonna be in your transcript because you
Mm.
have no credit of it. So it's they have really this really open and really liberal curriculum, which I think is really nice. It allows us to explore a lot. And about the transition that you mentioned, um, I think it's been a really big transition for me, at least because I'm really far away from home, um, physically. My family is back in Brazil. A lot of people here are from Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, which is like 1 hour away. So a lot of people have their families nearby. But for me, it was a transition, like a physical place transition. It was a cultural transition because I'm coming to a different country. I was already used to the American culture in Brazil. Like it was not a big transition for me. I studied at an American high school, so that was okay. Like language for me was okay. I was already really good at English, and because I spoke English in high school, so that was good. I think what changes a lot is like the living aspect, the freedom that suddenly you have to figure out everything on your own. You have to make friends, you have to clean your dorm, you have to buy your clothes, you have to do everything and study at the same time. So that is a different transition, like getting used to how college classes work. So here, most of my classes have like hundreds of people, and it's like a big auditorium with like 200 people,
Wow.
and the teacher on the front just like giving out a class, and you have to go and do it yourself, you know what I mean? So there are office hours that you can talk to the teacher or like the teacher assistants, which are students that act as teachers to help because there's so many people. But like it's a different aspect. It's not that depending on the class that you take, especially in the first year, that are those introduction classes, like 101 of everything. Those classes are really big, so that's a change. At my school, we had like 20 people max at a class,
Yeah.
so that's different. Um, yeah, I've said a lot.
Wow, that's it. Wow. Like personally, I'm also in an international school. We speak English and I
Yeah,
had the same experience. We have 20 minutes, sorry, 20 minutes, 20 people, 15 people in each class. So I
yeah,
guess you ever speak if there's 200 people in a class? Or have you had the opportunity
yeah,
to
yeah.
speak?
Most of my classes, people actually ask questions and raise their hands. The teacher asks questions to the students to reply. Sometimes no one knows the answer, and like it's a big silence
Mhm.
in a 200 people room, and that's really interesting. Like that's really funny. But yes, the teachers do connect to the students a lot. And here at Brown, there's this division on like sections of classes. So the lecture itself is made of like 200 to 300 people, but they have other things that they call sections that happen once a week. And it's a group of 20 people, like maximum 20, 25 people from that class that meet together with a teacher assistant, with a TA to make like discussion, discuss the readings of the week, discuss anything. the essays, the works that we have. So like that's more similar to a
Mm,
school classroom, but that happens once a week. And the lecture itself with 300 people happens 3 times a week, 2 times a week, depending on the class. So there is this smaller class called section, but it's less recurrent. Yeah. But yeah, we get to speak. It's
mhm.
fine. If you have a question, you can raise your hand, wait
Yeah.
for them to see you, and it's fine. I think I've never asked any questions yet. I've been just taking my notes by myself, but but that works. Yeah. It's not intimidating. It's not like people are gonna judge you completely if you ask a question. That's completely normal.
Mhm. I see.
Mhm.
So I actually want to, go back to your high school experience. You took the DP
Yeah.
course, right? The IBDP.
I took yeah, I took the IB. Yeah.
Right. So, well, I'm still an NYP student, so I don't know how that will go, but I heard it's very
Hmm.
rigorous, very hard. And I want to ask, how do you think the IBDP course load, let's say, in general compare to your current course load at Brown? Like, do you get more or do you get less in terms of time you spend, I guess?
Okay. I would say it's really similar actually. In the IB, I had 8 subjects and eight, no, seven, because I had a free block. I had 7 subjects, and
Okay.
here I have four. I have only four, so it's half the amount of subjects that I take. However, those subjects have, like, for example, the international relations class that I take has a lot of reading. So, like, I was even doing it now. I have to read 5, 6 articles that have like 15 pages each due to Monday and like the book. So we have a lot of reading. My biology class doesn't have that much reading. It depends. So um, I think that for me, like the classes that I take, it's really manageable. This week, I was able to start with the right foot and like do everything nice. But I've been seeing people that take like engineering or computer science, like my roommate does that. They have been like drowning in work, and yeah, so it depends a lot on the courses you take. Engineering people have a lot of projects all the time. They have to, oh my God, CS people, computer science people have been having a lot of work. So I think that was a big shock for them. I'm more chill with my classes, but still it's a lot of work. Comparing to the IB, I think the IB was harder in some specific parts like of the year when we had like the IAs, the internal assessments due, which are like big research papers, when we had the extended essay due, which is the ginormous research paper.
Mhm.
So yeah, those like specific moments were really intense. But in college, if you choose your courses wisely, you can like pick a easier course and like a harder course and balance it out.
Balance.
Um, so yeah, it's about like balancing your schedule. So my roommate that's taking both engineering and computer science, I don't think she's having a good balance right now. Poor girl.
Oh,
But she's doing her work as she should. So yeah, it depends on how much you're willing to do the work. The IB was pretty rigorous, but mainly on the senior year because it's when we have a lot of things happening at the same time. It's the internal assessments, it's the extended essay, it's the predicted grades, it's the application for colleges. So, but I remember my junior year of high school was great. Like for me, that I've been always organized with my stuff, and I've always enjoyed studying, so that wasn't like a big burden for me. That was normal. Yeah.
mhm. I see. I want to touch on the point you mentioned in the beginning. You talked about like you're studying international relationships. Personally, I've done like so many 20 plus MUN conferences, and so definitely I'm also interested in
Wow.
that course a little bit. So I want to ask, like,
Hmm.
what do you learn there, and how do you think international relationship will play out in the future when, like, in terms of jobs? What are you hoping? What kind of jobs can you
Okay.
get, I guess, with international relationships?
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty new to that subject as well. Like I've never done Model UN, I've never done like debate. This is the first time I'm studying it. And for now, in this first month, what we've been doing, we've been studying theories of international relations. So, like, different ways of seeing what's happening. So there's a theory called realism that views things in a perspective. There's a theory called liberalism, which views things in another perspective. Because everything is so subjective, because it's just like humans and states like acting. That you have to study those theories and use them as lenses to see what's happening. So we've been studying the Russia-Ukraine war. We've been studying the rise of China as a new great power, how the US is acting in the international system. So we use those case studies to like view the world, and at least for now, how those different perspectives can describe each case study, because different people that have different opinions describe different situations in different ways. So for now, we've been learning how to recognize those different perspectives within the world of international relations. Um, so there's a lot of theory within it, a lot of like, I'd even say like philosophy, because those are like philosophies of viewing the world in a political way. And we're studying political cases, and like I don't know much about politics. I've never been on top of the news, but I'm learning a lot about it. And about jobs that you asked. So I have this plan on double majoring in environmental sciences and international relations. Here
Whoa.
they call the course International and Public Affairs.
Mhm.
Um, that's how they call it now. And there's this track, they have different tracks for this course. So you can focus on development, you can focus on security, you can focus on, I forgot the last one, but I think I might focus on development, because on jobs, I think I would really be interested in like consulting, because then I can mix this idea of environmental stuff with knowing how to like policy making and those new ideas, maybe working with big corporations or like multinational corporations or international organizations like the UN, in the environmental track. That would be nice. UN hire
Mm.
me. So I think it's like two things that complement each other, because now we have so many worldwide environmental crises, that I think a knowledge in both environmental sciences and international relations might be really helpful. So that's where I'm taking it.
That's so cool. Honestly, Yulia, you mentioned the UN. Do you know the UN COP conferences? You know the COP,
Yeah, yeah.
right? I actually just got an interview with on Super Talk Show with COP 27's President Envoy on Youth. So I don't know how that will play out.
Wow.
Yeah, somehow we can make
That
some.
is amazing. Congrats.
Yeah, like you mentioned that, and I felt like, whoa, environmental, definitely climate change stuff is really important now. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
so I think I might be working on that track of sustainability, even in a small scale way of like helping businesses be more sustainable, in a larger scale, like helping states be more sustainable or helping the world be more sustainable. We'll see where I end up.
hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I think I have to ask you this, but can you maybe give us a dorm tour? It looks so cool. I
Of course.
you.
Of course. So here at Brown, we have the freshmen don't really have an option. They put us wherever. Usually freshmen end up in doubles, so you have two people in a room. It's really rare for you to be in a single, only by yourself, or you get a triple with three people, which is a little more chaotic. I got a double,
Um,
and it's mirrored. I don't know if I should show my roommate side, but basically we have a door with a mirror. We have a closet here. We have both our closets. We put our beds here, so I put my bed there. I put a lot of posters in the walls.
whoa.
We have some
So
storage
organized.
space. Yeah, we're able to lift our beds really high, so we end up getting a lot of space to put like boxes, and I keep my suitcases, like big suitcases, on the back, so it's all hidden there. What else? Here we have my desk with the window. We actually got a refrigerator and a microwave, that came with the dorm, so supplied by the school. We have our little kitchen area here, and so it's completely mirrored. So my roommate's side is the same thing. We
Wow.
made it like this, but different people make it in different ways. So this is our dorm. It's really convenient. It's in front of the bathroom. We have a shared bathroom with everyone else in the hallway. My hallway is only girls. You have that option when you're like filling up your housing preferences. The roommate assignment is random, but like you do provide like what time you wake up, what time you
Oh.
sleep. Do you like to keep your things like clean or like messy? Would you like to be close friends or like just acquaintances with your roommate? So they match people based on their responses, but mainly it's kind of random. Yeah. And we share the bathroom. But once you become like upperclassmen, you become sophomore, junior, senior, you start having more options. So I know some people that live in a single because they chose to, or live with a specific roommate that they chose. You can even live in a apartment complex, which is like you share a living room and a bathroom, and there's like 4 rooms or 2 rooms with 2 people each, and then you have one bathroom for 4 or 5 people, so that's a little more convenient. So as if you were living in an apartment with 4 best friends or something.
Mhm.
So the options start becoming more once you grow in the hierarchy of of the university. But as a freshman, they assign you to either double, triple, rarely a single. Yeah.
Okay, that was a really cool tour. Thank you so much. I
No
want
worries.
to ask, like, how old is the building? Is it like, traditional from whenever Brown was founded, or is it like a new one?
I don't really know. I think the squad is older, is not like the
Okay.
most modern dorms. It looks really New England style, the architecture. I think it's from the 80, like 1800s or the 1900s. It's a quad called Keeney Quad, and within that there's 3 buildings, and this quad is like filled with freshmen. So it's known to be the freshman quad because they put most of the freshmen here. Some freshmen are in other areas as well, but like this building is filled with freshmen, and that is good and bad in a way. It's good because you meet new people. Everyone here is like in the same page.
Yeah.
Everyone's new, but there's also some crazy parties and hangouts happening every weekend and every Friday night that leave the lounges messy. So that might be bad if you're not into that. But the building itself is really good. The bathrooms are really good and new and like clean until a certain point of the week.
Mhm.
Our room itself is really nice. The floors are really nice, easy to clean. Um, I really like it. Those shelves are like within the wall, so they come with a closet and and shelves. And I think this is the only school that I've seen that. So the building itself, it's really nice. Yeah, even if they're old.
Okay, I see. And that was like a really sophisticated and in-depth tour. Um, well, that's really cool. I think I just forgot the question I was going to ask you. Oh, I remember.
Don't worry.
Um, because you did your fashion video portfolio, and I think it's something really
Yeah,
special about Brown because no other school actually not requires you, but like kind of suggests you to do, a portfolio like that. So I want to
yeah.
ask how you got into like the process of making that portfolio, and how did you start, and why did you choose fashion, not academics,
Okay.
or other topics?
Mhm. Okay. So just to give context to people that don't know, at Brown, we don't have interviews. Most schools
Oh,
have interviews. Yeah. So I really decided not to have interviews and give the option of submitting a 2-minute video talking about literally anything. So it's a free video. You can do anything in the video. It can be you, it can be other people talking about you. I know some people that did this. So um, instead of an interview, they do this video. And my video, I I don't know, it was the first thing that came to my head because fashion is a big part of my life. I love dressing up nice. That's like I love doing my makeup, I love doing my hair. Now I'm a little more basic because I'm just chilling in my room, but I really like to have fun dressing up. And when I was visiting colleges, I swear to you that I was paying close attention to how people dressed because I think that reflects a lot on people's personalities. Yes, and Brown was it's the only place I know that people are actually like fun and dress up, and people
Mm.
are stylish here. That's like you're walking around and like there's always stylish people walking around as if you were like in a fashion week or something. So that was something that I really enjoyed, and I think that reflects how the personality and individuality of people are, because that's what fashion reflects. And I chose that to talk about in my video because I feel like that's such a big part of me, but that wasn't in my application. So I talked about my extracurriculars, I talked about my family, I talked about my academic interests, I talked about my projects and community service projects and everything, but I didn't talk about fashion. Um, and so I was like, that's what's missing. I don't want to be repetitive. I don't want to talk about the NGO that I worked in again. I don't want to talk about everything again. So let me talk about fashion because that's the most transparent thing that I can talk about. And so I made this video, like just speaking, and I showed it to my college counselor. And she told me like to put some images to illustrate a little bit more. So I re-edited the video. I put images. I That was a hard work to do the editing and everything, but because I have experience with editing, um, I was able to do it. Um, I didn't find the video perfect actually. I was like, okay, whatever, it's good enough. Let's submit it. And I ended up posting on YouTube just because, just for fun, and it ended up like
A lot,
getting a lot of views. It
probably.
has like more than 100,000 views, and I was like, what? How did this happen? It has so many views. Um, but yeah, I think it was about being myself. People say this is the most cliche thing, be yourself, but that was literally what I did. That was what was missing about me. That wasn't in my application, and that I wanted Brown to know about me because that was such a big part about me. Yeah.
And it all came up just perfectly. Because that
Yeah, it
like
worked well.
you wanna learn about yourself as well. That's what I've been hearing at least. Um,
Hmm.
so I
Exactly. So showing those, yeah.
oh, I think there's like a Wi-Fi delay or something. I've been like
Yes, a little bit.
throughout this interview. But
Don't
Zoom
worry.
has a limit for us, 8 minute left. So I guess I just want to ask
Okay.
to end off this interview. Would you
Hmm.
have any tips or advice for our super audience who are like basically high school, middle school students about like maybe going through the college application process and how to best prepare themselves in high school in terms of like
Yeah.
extracurriculars, I guess, um, for college,
Yeah.
like especially selective college applications like Brown.
Yeah. I would say that a good variety in your portfolio of like activities and interests is really good. So like I had community service, I had dance, I had um what else? I had cheerleading. I was a cheerleader, so a sport. Um so yeah. So I think a good variety, but like focus on each one and don't do like 10 different clubs. Choose three that you like and that you can become a leader on them. And I think leadership examples and experiences are really, really good. They love that, especially if you start a project with a friend or because that was what I did. I had a project outside of school with two other friends and that we leaded like completely by ourselves, and I
Mm.
think that was something interesting. That's what I wrote about in my main Common App essay, and
Oh,
that goes to every school that you apply to. Yeah. So I think have good grades, study, do your best, go for it. Because that's what they look at first. I'll say like if you have, because having good grades means that you can like handle the rigorous academic
academic.
classes, the rigorous academics of the school. So if you want to apply to a rigorous school academically, you got to show that you can do it and you're not going to fail every class that you take. That's why grades end up mattering. But that's like the baseline. So have good grades. That's the minimum for going to a really good school. And I think what made a big difference in my like choosing schools, because I ended up doing early decision to Brown. Early decision, are you
Oh,
familiar with that? Yeah, it's when you apply like in October. The normal applying is like January. You apply in October, and like if you get in, if they accept you, you are going to that school. There's no coming back. Yeah. So I did early decision to the school because I had a gut feeling about it. I was gonna do an early decision to another school, uh, but I came here and I had this gut feeling that I liked it here and that I belonged here and that people here would be my type of people. So I think the way your personality and your way of like doing things matches the way the school acts, I think that's a big importance because like some people get into really good schools, some people get into Harvard, Columbia, but they end up hating the place and hating the people and hating the way things work. And they want to change the school or transfer somewhere else. There's always this option to transfer. That's really common. But like seeing that that school matches you, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go to Stanford, you don't have to go to Harvard. You have to go to somewhere that you like and that
I
matches the
mean,
way that
Brown's
you work.
already on that level.
Yeah, I'm happy I was able to find this at such a good school like Brown. So I think when you're doing this research, talk to people that study in those places, go to information sessions, even on Zoom. It was during COVID that I did my research. So it was a lot of information sessions on Zoom. It was a lot of Zoom conversations. It was a lot of like internet, YouTube videos, watch YouTube videos about the school, see how people behave, see how what people do, what the physical space looks like. Um, so I think that's really important. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are really good like insider's advice on like just your journey because I think you had a really successful high school journey. Like definitely balancing the rigor of IBDP with like cheerleading. That's crazy. Like cheerleading, dancing. I someone balancing like all of that. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for being on Super Talk Show with us and showing us your dorm.
Don't
You
worry. It
know,
was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
yeah, thank you so
Thank
much,
you
Julia.
so much for the invitation, Heidi.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you.